We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go, we're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go. Hi everybody, I'm Sophie, he's Mike, and she's Brenda, and welcome to On the Road with Mickey. If you're returning for another adventure with us, welcome back. We are so glad you have returned safely. And if this is your first episode with us and you're new here, welcome. It's so nice to meet you, and I'm going to show you the reins today. First up, we have our Cheddar from the Big Cheese, which is basically our Disney news snippets. And then after that, we have our feature topic, which is what we talk about for most of the episode. And then after that, we have our This Day in Disney History, brought to you by me. And after that is our game of Who's Who, and that is brought to you by Mike, my dad. Oh, fair warning, I'm almost never wrong when it comes to this game. I almost always win it. And then after that, Brenda will be giving us a quote from the big man himself, Walt Disney, and it's just going to be amazing. So buckle up, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the car at all times. Make sure you're safe, fasten your seatbelts, all that good stuff, and we will see you on the road. It's time to get going. Let's go!
Hey everyone, I'm Mike and she's Sophie.
And she's Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
And he's Grogu. And we're on the road with Mickey. This is episode 116 for April 4th, 2022. Can you believe it's already April?
Crazy.
Yes.
Very crazy. And today we are finishing up our look at our top 5 retired attractions. This is part 2. We're going to be looking at Animal Kingdom and Epcot for our parks. And I think it'll be a fun episode. So let's get right into it. But of course, we start with our Cheddar from the Big Cheese. Brenda, you start us off.
Well, we have exciting news today. The Disney Cultural Representative Program is returning to Epcot this summer. The first new participants will begin arriving in August. Yay!
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's cool. Because now you're going to have someone from Norway in
Exactly. Yes.
Norway. So
Yes,
I'm
and that should have
excited.
been something we had on our list today because that really does add so much to the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay, I'm so glad it's starting back up again. Wow, that's fantastic.
So moving over to Animal Kingdom. We talked last year about Finding Nemo and how it would be coming back. And it's coming back, and they are casting for the show now, which is officially going to be called Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond. So I'm excited to see it when it comes out. No date yet on when it'll come out, but I think it's going to be fun. I think it'll be worth seeing. So
Yay,
keep your
that's
ears
great.
open for that, people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yay.
All right, I guess that means it's my turn. And congratulations to the Walt Disney Company for winning 6 Academy Awards at the most recent Oscars. Most notably, Encanto won Best Animated Feature Film. And
That was not a stretch, was it?
Oh yeah, no, I was not surprised at all. But here's the thing. So I was actually watching clips of the Oscars the night it was on TV because I was FaceTiming my friend Jagan and she was watching the Oscars. So that meant I was watching the Oscars, and Jagan actually said that another movie won the Best Animated Feature Film. And I was like, Jagan, Mitchell's versus Machines is not going to win against Encanto. I don't know what you're talking about.
And you were right.
Yep, I was right. And then later on that night, we ended up ending the call. before we saw who won. But later on that night, I just got a call from Jagan's mom, my Aunt Sheila, and she was like, Jagan wanted to apologize to you for saying that Encanto wouldn't win. It just won. And I was like, I told you. I told you.
There you go.
Anyway, so that is our cheddar from the big cheese. And now it's time to dig into our topic and our top 5 retired attractions, part 2. So, concluding, like I said, we're looking at Epcot and Animal Kingdom this week. And Sophie, I want you to give us one from your list. You start us off.
All right. So I'm going from number 5 to number 1, just so we're clear.
So,
Because last time we did this, I was all out of order thanks to someone. Yeah. Well, my number 5.
So this is your 5th least that you miss?
Yes, this out of all of these 5, this is the one that I missed the least.
Okay. Just so I'm understanding.
Yeah, the one that I'm talking about is over in Dinoland USA. It's an Animal Kingdom. Well, it was before they completely tore Dinoland USA down. But the one thing that I miss the most about it would be the Primeval Whirl ride.
Okay.
I remember when I was little and I just saw that ride and I was like, I desperately want to go on it. I was like, can we go on that one? Can we go on that one? Can we go on that one? And every time they brought me over, I was never tall enough for it.
Oh yeah, that was
never
one.
tall
Yeah.
enough for
That
it.
was 54 inches.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah. And then when
So
I
it took a
finally
while.
got tall enough to ride it, it was not as impressive as I thought it would be. But for the sake of my pride and for the sake of waiting that long, I said it was my favorite.
There you go.
So now it's
There you go.
gone though, and well, it's no surprise
On
why
to
it's on the
better,
bottom.
bigger and better things, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that's a good start for us.
Yeah.
Sophie.
Yep.
All right. Who's next? Brenda, I think, is next.
Well, mine are in no particular order. Just five that I missed. So we're just going to start with the one that I wrote first, which is Illuminations. So, I mean, I really love Harmonious. I really do, but I miss Illuminations. And we talked about this before. It's mostly because of all the memories that were made watching it with my kids as they were growing up. And, it was a special show. So Illuminations is my first one that I'll mention. And like I said, they're not in any particular order. So,
Okay.
yep.
That's a good one to miss. So, um, you know, this is gonna fall under the "Do you really miss this one?" category, but I do, and I miss it because a similar reason for the memories. And over at Animal Kingdom, number 5 on my list is now Pandora, but used to be Camp Mini Mickey. And I liked it because it had these little quirky things. Like you could walk down the path and you could see little spots where Huey, Dewey, and Louie had wandered,
Yep.
And of course, it was a spot for the meet and greets for Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Goofy. And I don't know if Daisy was there or not, but
I saw a figurine over there once.
yeah, but it was just a little area. Now, of course, when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, Pandora is lights out, much better than Camp Mini Mickey ever was.
Yeah.
But it's something that I miss. So I think I liked just that it was an area you could go to and see all your characters.
Yep.
No,
And actually, I have a picture of that, one of the things from Camp Mini Mickey, just because I wanted to show it, and that was the Daisy figurine. They had a lot of these scattered all around the area,
Uh-huh.
and that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, that's what I was remembering.
Cuties.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, and it was adorable.
Oh, it is so cute.
Yeah. So that's what I remember, and that's what I'm like. It was just so cool to me,
Yeah.
So
It was
thank you
really
for
cool.
sharing that, Sophie.
Yep, there was one of
Mhm.
Donald fishing. There were others. It was a nice area, but yeah, Pandora blows it out of the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay,
Good job.
Sophie. Next on
Thank
your
you.
list.
All right, next on my list, it's actually something over in Epcot, and
Uh-huh.
this area, I miss it mainly because of what on earth? Why is my Siri on? I don't know. Anyway, this area, I miss it mainly because of the hustle and bustle that it brought to the center of Epcot, and I'm talking about the area that held Mouse Gear, and the Centurium is what it was called. And it's the central hub. It includes Spaceship Earth in it, but Spaceship Earth is kind of the entrance into it.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone knows you go under the giant Spaceship Earth ball, and then there you veer off to one of two sides, and they bring you back to the same place in the center of the park where the fountains are and all those different
Yeah.
buildings surround it, and that's called the Centurium. And it used to be that area was just full of hustle and bustle. Now it's just sort of a walkway to get to the rest of Epcot. And I miss when it was an actual hub-like area.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Um, you know, that part, and that's part of what we're looking forward to seeing down the road, because that part of Epcot is so much a construction zone right now that when it's done, I can't even imagine how cool it's going to be, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I remember once, because we would split up a little bit. You guys would go do something, and you'd send me over to get fast passes at Test Track or at Soarin'. And I remember
Yeah.
once I was doing my Disney walk because I wanted to hightail it to get the best fast pass time I could. This is paper fast pass, so we're
Yeah.
Yep.
talking years. And I remember this lady stopping me because I had such a purpose on my face. She thought that I was a cast member.
Oh.
And she was like, "Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to so and so?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry. Thank you for thinking I work here, but I have no idea and I don't work here."
Oh.
So it was so cool though that she thought I might be a cast
Yep.
member.
That's cool.
Yep.
So,
Oh
but yeah,
wow.
that all started right in there, and then you split out and you went off your own ways and everything like that. So yeah,
Yep.
so
That's a
so
good one,
Yeah.
Sophie.
it's a good one.
Thank you.
All
All
The,
right
right,
then.
the
like
next one
that.
I'm going to mention is over. Yeah. Since you're talking about that general area, I'll mention the Fountain of Nations, which is on my list. I miss the Fountain of Nations because we spent a lot of time, like we would get like a coffee and a snack and just sit out there. It was a relaxing place.
Yeah,
Oh.
So
yeah,
it was one of the few, few places like I don't know why, but it seems like to me there's a lot of places in World Showcase where you can like sit and relax. It's kind of chill like that. But Future World to me is not so much, but that area was.
hmm
So
You
Ah.
know, one of the things that I'm getting a little confused in the behind the where Club Cool reopened at.
Yeah.
Okay, at Epcot. Um, behind there's restrooms or whatever, but it's
yeah,
kind of an open area, and it's like one way takes you to Test Track, one way takes you over to Mission
Space
Space,
220. Yeah.
and so forth. And there's a spot in there that's kind of like its own little seating area. And that's actually become a really good spot to just
Yeah.
kind of sit and chill and wait for people. And if your group
Cool.
is broken up, to wait for them to all connect back up and everything like that.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind in the future.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, that's
And when
good.
you said the Fountain of Nations, at first I thought you meant that big fountain that's now outside, like right in front of Spaceship Earth. And I was like, Aunt Brenda, that's still there. And then I realized, wait a minute, there was another fountain that was behind it. And
mhm.
that was the one you were talking about. And I was like, I didn't realize that wasn't there anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of the construction, you miss what's not there sometimes,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So for me, staying over at Animal Kingdom, number 4 on
Yep.
my list is it was a little stage show. I remember it from 2007.
Hmm.
So we're looking 15 years ago. And I don't think it lasted very long, but I remember how cool it was. And that was Pocahontas and her forest friends.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember because it
Oh.
was a spot where you could see Pocahontas, and after the show, you could talk with the cast and get pictures and autographs and whatnot. And it was just this cute little show that was in Animal Kingdom, and it was just really neat. So I really liked it, because, especially because you don't see Pocahontas very often. So it was a neat thing, and so I liked it. So that was my number 4, was Pocahontas and her forest friends.
Yay.
Wow, I hardly even remembered that. Well,
Yay. Good choice, Mike.
Thank you.
hmm well, speaking of Animal Kingdom, my number 3 is actually a little bit confusing to me because I consider it to be closed, but at the same time, there's still a lot of stuff going on there, and that is actually Rafiki's Planet Watch. It still has activity there, and it's not, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's not abandoned, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it feels like it's not quite what it used to be either.
Well, yeah. And I think I can help out a little bit if you want me to, Sophie. It's because Rafiki's Planet Watch was open for a long time, and it had a lot of neat little things, and then it was closed
Yeah,
for quite a while, like a couple trips at least for us.
yeah,
And then they reopened it, and I'm not quite sure why it was closed or why they reopened it or anything like that, but it's different. It's got different things, and one of them being the character experience, where you draw the character. So
yeah.
so it is different. So what you're saying is you miss the way it used to be.
I do. I really do.
Okay.
Because I remember the last time I was at Rafiki's Planet Watch, it was with Jagan, and we went there, and Jagan really wanted to do the stand-in version of the Animation Academy, which still belongs over in Hollywood Studios, but at the same time,
Amen.
I'm glad that they have something like that over where Rafiki's Planet Watch is, because without it, that place really would be desolate. But I remembered she went in, and when
With
we tried to
Yeah.
get into the animation area, the entrance was blocked off. We had to go around the back way to it, and the only thing that could really be accessed from the actual proper Planet Watch entrance was a vending machine and some bathrooms. And that's just sad. That
Okay.
is really,
Yeah.
really
Certainly
sad.
gives you a different feel from what you were used to, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah. I remember that same experience. You're right, because in many ways, because Jagan and Sheila and Mommy got in there and did the
Mm-hmm.
drawing. while you and I and Randy kind of just hung out and just sat at a table and we're just
Yeah.
waiting for them to finish. So there wasn't a whole lot
Right.
Yeah.
beyond for us to do. So
Yeah.
so it kind of felt like, well, we're just sitting here waiting for them, So and it is what it is.
It
Yep.
is.
So okay. So next on our list, Brenda.
Next on my list is the living statues in Italy.
Oh, I remember
Oh.
them.
I loved them. I think they added so much to the area, and they were so funny when, you could watch people who didn't know they were going to come to life, and
Yeah.
just it was hilarious. I
Yeah.
loved them. They were so great. Like, they would stand there. I mean, it seemed like they stood there for a long time till somebody would come up and take a picture with them, and as soon as they'd come up, they'd, like, put their elbow on their shoulder or something like that and freak them out. It was so much fun. I've had a lot of laughs at other people's expense, I think. I hope I don't get struck for that. But it was a lot of fun for us and to watch other people react to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow. I'm
that's
gonna have
awesome.
to find like a video or something of that because
Oh,
that
it's so cute.
I did not remember that at all, and I think that would be amazing.
Oh,
You
they
know?
looked totally like statues. There
Oh
was a
yeah.
male and a female,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I mean, they looked like statues. It was crazy. I think that's a thing in Italy, but I've
yeah.
never been there.
I'm
So,
looking at it right now. Like, look at these. These
yes.
are
I
And then
know.
they would
amazing.
just, all of a sudden, you'd get next to them to take a picture and they'd put their hand on your head or, it's like people were freaking out.
Yeah. It's really cool. And I think the
Oh,
reason we
God.
never really did much with it is because we were just like blowing by to make our Via Napoli or to go on to the
Oh,
next attraction or whatever.
Yeah.
that's
And
sad.
so
We should have taken some
so
time.
we didn't really stop to smell the roses at that spot.
I find
So
that a lot of that extra stuff with people that I always really, really liked is I feel like that's just missing in general, and I wish they would just bring all that back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And I think they're trending that way,
I
you
hope
know.
so, especially
Yeah.
now that they're going to be
Thinking
able to
about
have people come back in.
I mean, just thinking a little off the cuff about the Walt statue,
Yeah.
that's coming to Epcot.
I know. I'm so
That's the
excited.
that's the perfect spot where you will just want to kind of
For sure.
sit and relax and take it all in and just really breathe it all in and soak it, you know?
Yeah.
And so those sorts of things I think are trending towards that coming back,
I hope
Yeah.
so, because they've
you
been
know?
gone a long time.
Yeah.
It's time to bring them back.
So,
If they bring him back, then I'm gonna be so happy.
Yay.
so number 3 on my list, I am going to tell you right now, the last 3, my top 3 are at Epcot. So, I've
Well,
hit all the ones at
are
Animal
at
Kingdom.
my last two are at Epcot.
All of
Oh,
mine were at Epcot, so there you go.
Hmm,
Um, you know,
you were really into Epcot, Aunt Brenda.
Yeah.
she likes her Epcot and her Hollywood she misses her things from Epcot and Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, for me, I remember, you had Illuminations East and Illuminations West. And I think it was on the east side. I
You mean
don't
interventions?
Interventions, yeah,
Uh-huh.
not Illuminations. Thank you. Interventions East and West. And on one side of them was the the house, the Interventions house.
Oh yeah,
You remember the house?
I
You could
do.
tour it, and if you toured it, they showed you all the different technology stuff and how it was green and all the savings and how you could order your groceries from your fridge and all this before you could find a smart refrigerator in Lowe's. You couldn't find it in Lowe's then, but you could find it
Right.
at the Interventions house. You know,
Yeah.
and on and on and on. And that yeah, Mommy and I, we thought that was the coolest thing,
It
and we
was.
loved to tour that, and I thought that was so neat. So
I
that's
thought it
number
was cool
three.
too.
That's
Yeah.
number three on my list of things I miss. So
Awesome. Good one.
thank you.
All right, then I guess it's time for my number two.
Yes.
And my number two, so these two, as I said, they are from Epcot. And my number two was the Universe of Energy with Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, Ellen's
I
Energy Adventure, right?
Yeah, it had Bill Nye in it too, I think, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. I loved Bill Nye when I was a kid. He was an awesome show, and whenever the teacher at school would put on a Bill Nye episode, you knew it was going to be a fun class.
I bet. Yeah. It was going to be interesting to say the least, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, not to say that my teachers weren't interesting. I love you guys. Thank you for giving me an education that I didn't really use all that well, but thank you anyway.
Oh, you've used it. So
Anyway, I loved the Universe of Energy. I especially liked the dinosaur scenes with it because, well, when you think about it, I went into that attraction thinking it was going to be just a movie, and I was like, cool, we can sit down, get out of the heat, we're gonna be good. And then the seats started to move, and I was like, where are we going?
yeah,
But
it's
it turned out to be fine.
different kind of dinosaur scene from that other dinosaur scene.
Oh yes, yes.
For sure.
The one that you made, the one that you had me ride when I was 6.
Maybe. Yeah, it might have been 6, might have been 7.
I
So
think it's extremely, extremely weird that I was able to ride Dinosaur before I rode Primeval World. That makes no sense.
yeah.
Just the way the car is and, safety, how they measure the
Yeah.
safety factor. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
but that's a good
Anyway,
one. Universe of Energy.
that is a good one. Yep. All right, Brenda.
Well, my number two is also another personal one, and that's the World Showcase Players. The World Showcase Players were in the
Oh.
UK, and that's the show that Butch was drawn out from the audience because it was the audience participation Monty Python type of thing with King Arthur. So they told Butch he had to wear a crown, and every time they said long live the king, he had to clap and say, "That's me, baby." And
I remember that.
laughed. I had that on video. I have no idea where it is now, but oh my gosh, I loved that show, and it was so much fun to see people participate, especially him, because he really got into it. But I miss those guys. I miss those kinds of audience, the things that interact with the guests. So I'm hoping they're gonna bring some of that back.
Yeah. I thought of you, and I thought about that in that show. One of the things, I got an honorable mention, and I saw that show, and it would have been really funny if Butch had been the guy, but it wasn't you guys. It was someone else. And I've got pictures in my photos somewhere of them doing that show. But one of the things I miss, and this isn't my number two. This is an honorable mention, but I'm going to say it now. You remember the double decker bus?
Yeah.
They used to have a double decker bus, Sophie. When it first opened, I think it was for people, and then it became for characters. But you could ride the double decker bus, Sophie, around World Showcase. It was so cool.
Yep.
It was so
that's a great honorable mention.
Cool.
Wow.
And then they made it where you
in
didn't ride it, but they had the characters, and they would drive the characters around, and they would be up on the top of the bus, waving at you and everything.
Yeah, that was cute.
Which was cool too. But I remember that double decker bus, and I was like, it's one of those things. It was so long ago, because we're coming up almost 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
40 years this year.
October 1st this year will be
40
40
years.
years. Yeah.
I went in 1983, and that's when I saw it. And it's almost like one of those things where you haven't seen it in so long, you think, was it really there, or did I
Mm-hmm.
imagine it? Kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So,
Wow.
but anyway, that was cool. Was it
Yeah.
bus? But my number two, back on topic. My number two, Sophie, is also Ellen's Energy Adventure.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
that is, we only did it like once or twice,
Mm, 3 times maybe.
maybe, but it was neat to. It was neat, and it was a neat show, and it was, you did have the whole thing of getting out of the heat, and you also had the experience of going on the cars and seeing the dinosaurs and everything like that. So it was really neat, the way they did it. But I am really looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy
Oh
Cosmic.
my gosh. Me
Yeah.
too. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for that
That's gonna
sucker.
be so great.
Oh wow.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
To quote
Something
Rich,
tells me we've
awesome
all got the
baby.
same number one.
Mm,
What do you think, Mike? You think we all have the same number one?
I think you
depends. Is
probably
it in
do.
Norway?
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right then. I'm going first because you guys took all my thunder last time. My number one is Maelstrom.
The Maelstrom, yep.
Malmstrom, yep.
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 Norway. I love Norway. And don't get me wrong, Frozen is okay. But Maelstrom was amazing. I loved, loved, loved Maelstrom.
Yeah. I mean, let's just think back about it over the years, right?
Over
Yeah.
the many, many years.
I mean, we met Brenda. I've got a picture of Brenda and I think myself by the troll.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Brenda and her friend Susan and the three of us rode Maelstrom together.
That was the first ride we ever rode together.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so that's another memory,
Yep.
and on and on and on and on. And it was just so cool.
And Sophie was a little bitty girl.
I
And they had all the
the
Viking characters across that wall. Remember when you're in line and they had that whole wall of Viking characters? And Sophie was the first person ever to point out to me that one of them had Mickey ears on.
Yep.
I did not ever notice that in all the time I'd been on that ride.
Until Sophie pointed out.
Yeah.
And most of the time, not as long, not as much at the end, but when you got off the boat, then you went into the theater and you sat at the little and watched a little just
Show.
short little movie about Norway, and that was cool too.
Yeah.
So it was just, it had everything going on. And then you exit, and where are you, Brenda? You're in a gift shop.
Oh, of course. You're always in a gift shop. Yep.
So
What was your favorite part about Maelstrom, Sophie?
My favorite part about Maelstrom was probably the part where you went down that waterfall backwards and then you just look right to your right and there's a giant polar bear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was either that or the beginning part where it talked about the ancient Nordic tribes that lived there, like the Vikings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge history nerd, and I actually recently bought a book that was like a chronological rendition of all the different Norse myths.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
That is cool.
I'm still on the first chapter, but it's a really good book. I love Norse mythology, and technically that's why one of my favorite parts of Norway is the old the old Viking temple where you can go and see some of the deities that they worshipped in that culture.
Hmm.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I just think, you know, of retired attractions, Maelstrom is up there
Yeah.
amongst the top of
Yeah, I
any
Yeah.
of
totally
the
agree.
parks, you know?
Totally agree with that. Yeah.
So,
All right. Good.
yeah.
Yep. We're all on the same wavelength with that one for sure. Great
Yep.
memories.
All right. Well, good stuff. Good stuff, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yay.
Um, and everyone, we have some listener feedback, just a
Oh,
couple little
awesome.
bits here. Um, you know, Chrissy over at Epcot, she misses also Brenda, the Fountain of Nations.
Oh,
And she also misses Ellen's Energy Adventure. She had a specific name for it. And I'm going to look it up because it was really funny to me. And I
oh.
can't quite remember right off the top of my head. But it was, oh gosh, what was it? I might have to come back to it. Let's see here. Sorry. Dead air, dead air.
It's fine.
Ooh, let's just be annoying here.
No.
She said that it was. She called it the Ellen's Science Dino Ride. That's all I remember it called as.
That's cute.
And then she
No,
Well,
put
that's what it
LOL.
was. Very
meanwhile, I'm
LOL.
over
descriptive.
here calling it the universe of energy just because I remember that old song. Here we go. Here we
Yeah.
go through the
Well,
universe of energy. And that was the ride that came before it, didn't it?
yeah, but that was the pavilion too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
it was a good pavilion. There are a lot of old Epcot pavilions that were just integrated into the rest of it, and I really enjoyed learning about them. Like the place where we went to see the new plans for Epcot, Daddy.
Hmm.
Remember that place that I
Horizon,
showed you?
yeah.
Yeah, that I think used to be the entrance to the old health pavilion at Epcot where it focused on like the human body and what keeps it healthy. And I think there was even a ride where you were a blood cell in that area.
I don't
I remember something like that.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that,
It
but
was like Journey Through the Body, but it wasn't called that.
Ah.
It was called something else, but wasn't it like that? Like you were journeying through the body?
See, we never ever even
I
experienced
never
this.
wrote it. So
I never experienced it. Daddy never remembered it, so you're asking the
God, I
wrong
hope I'm not
people
making
here.
it up, but
no, I think you're
I
I
right,
thought we
know.
were
Brenda.
in the body going through the different parts of the body.
Yeah.
And
Let's
then
let a listener write in and tell us what that was.
yeah,
Yes, please.
and then Chrissy also misses at Animal Kingdom. She misses Rivers of Light, which I never saw, never got the opportunity. So
I wanted to see it.
so did
I
I.
saw that one. I didn't get into it as much as, you know, fireworks show. I mean,
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer said that she misses Maelstrom also at Epcot. So just a little bit of feedback for these two parks,
yay.
but thank you guys for leaving your feedback as always in the On the Road with Mickey group on Facebook. You can also leave comments on the show notes on our website or in the YouTube channel or wherever, and we'll get notified about it. So thank you everyone for your
Yay.
feedback, and
Thank
that
you.
Yeah.
and that wraps up our two-part look at our retired attractions from Walt Disney World. And now it is time for this day in Disney history for April 4th. So, Sophie, take it away.
All right. I'm going all the way back to 1928 with this
Okay.
one. April 4th. The poet, educator, actor, I mean, author, actress, and activist Maya Angelou was born Margaret Johnson in St. Louis, Missouri, and the reason that she is related to Disney is she is one of the original voices for Walt Disney World's The Hall of Presidents.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think I realized that.
I don't think I did either.
I definitely didn't either.
I'm impressed. Way to go.
I love Maya Angelou, but I did not realize she was one of those voices.
Yeah.
And
That's
there's a quote from her here.
Okay.
You can only become truly accomplished at something you love. Don't make money your goal. Instead, pursue the things you love doing and do them so well that people can't take their eyes off you.
There you go.
Very good. That sounds like
That's
a
a
Disney
great
quote.
quote. It does.
Yeah.
You know, I noticed when you were reading that Grogu's eyes and his ears kind of lit up a little bit.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Well, that's good history, Sophie. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yay.
And now
Thank you.
it's time for me to put on these readers or these
Here we
glasses.
go.
I think Sophie will get this
I think Sophie always does.
because she always does, almost always.
Oh, we'll see.
I think I've made it both difficult and easy. So let's just see how easy it is. So
All
this
right.
character is one of a kind, which
Aren't they all?
It's
not always. This character has a springy style.
Tigger.
Yeah.
And I
For
was going to
sure.
say that it is Tigger, and that's why I thought it would be easy. But I wanted to see if springy was a clue for you.
For sure.
And then
I had to
I
think
was
for
going
a
to say,
second.
I was going to say that this character has a wonderful thing. And then we're going to see if that gave it away.
The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things.
That's right.
Yeah. Their tops are made out of rubber. Their bottoms are made out of springs. They're flouncy, 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 fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one.
Yeah. Very good.
So, I have 3 pieces of Did You Know? Did you know that Tigger, you did know, but did you know that Tigger greets people with a cheerful hoo hoo hoo?
I
And
did know.
departs with a ta-ta FN, ta-ta for now.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
FN, yep. And of course, Tigger has his own theme song, The Wonderful Thing About Tiggers, which Sophie just sang part of it to us. And Tigger explains the spelling of his name as T-I-double-G-R.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I
And
love
Tigger has his own room at my friend Susan's house that's full of Tiggers.
Exactly. That's right. I forgot about that. That's
Yep.
the 4th, did you know?
Yeah.
And she's got
That was
like
a good
8
one.
million Tiggers in her house.
Yes.
8 million and one now.
He has his own room.
So
Aw.
that's our character. Good job, Sophie.
Yay.
Thank you.
Did you know who it was, Brenda?
I did. When you said the first one, which could have been anybody, I didn't. But when you said spring, I knew who it was.
Okay. Good job, Brenda.
That
You
was a
got
good
it
clue.
too.
Good clue.
All right then. So next
Well-
is up.
Right.
You ready for a little bit of Walt?
Yes,
I'm ready
we
for
are.
a whole lot of Walt. What you got?
Essentially, the real difference between a child and an adult is experience. We conceive it to be our job on the Mickey Mouse Club show to provide some of that experience. Happy, factual, constructive experience whenever possible.
Oh wow.
That's good. That's
Yep.
good.
Molding those little kids. That's
Yeah.
what we do, isn't it?
That's exactly what it's about. Yeah.
What we need to do.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Brenda. That was a
You're
good
welcome.
quote. Thank you, Walt, for that quote. And that wraps us up, people. Next week, we have a special guest. My friend Cindy from the website monorailsandmagic.com is going to join us. I know Cindy through our days when we both wrote for the Magical Bloggerrail, which was a Disney round robin kind of posting site where we would have a topic and then different sites would sign up to write about that topic, and you would go around and you would bounce it from one site to the next, and it was the Magical Bloggerrail. But she is going to join us to talk about planning a solo trip, and also we're going to incorporate the changes at Disney because of the pandemic for those that are just a little confused on what's going on at Disney and what's changed and what's the same and stuff like that. So we're going to incorporate both of those topics into one session. So I think it's going to be a great episode, and I hope that you all join us. But as always, she's Brenda, that's Sophie, he's Grogu, and I'm
Mike.
That's right. And we will see you on the
road.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good stuff, people. Thank you so much.
Good memories.
Yeah.